Okay, so yesterday I made this video talking about the Spider-Man set coming out and how it's probably going to be super expensive and a more well-known IP than Final Fantasy. And let me tell you, the Final Fantasy army came at me saying, no way is it going to be better than Final Fantasy. Spider-Man's not as big an IP as Final Fantasy. So I decided to run a little experiment. I decided to send people I know 2 photos. Tell me who these 2 people are. Photo 1 that I sent was this guy from Final Fantasy. He's the most popular character they have. It's Cloud. Everybody who loves Final Fantasy knows this character. Photo number 2 that I sent was this one right here of Spider-Man. So I sent this simple text to everybody with the photos, and it says, I'm sending you 2 photos. You tell me who both these characters are without looking it up. Photo number 1, Cloud, and photo number 2 is Spider-Man. These are the responses I got. First on the list, my father. I sent him the photos and that text, and he responded with, I only know one, Spider-Man. Now, my dad is an immigrant, and he responded with Spider-Man instead of Spider-Man, so I'm giving half a point to Spider-Man on this one. Next on the list is my sister Callie. Now, she doesn't know a lot about the nerd world. She doesn't know about comic books, video games, or Magic the Gathering. She probably thinks it's all real silly stuff. But you know what? I was actually surprised that she said she knew who Spider-Man was. So I feel like that's double points and makes up for my dad's comment about Spider-Man. However, she also said, is this a trick question? And no, it's not a trick question. I'm just trying to prove a point that more people know Spider-Man. And now my best friend Joseph. Now this one should be very interesting because he is a super nerd. He plays a lot of online computer video games. He knows a lot about nerd culture. He's a well-informed guy when it comes to our realm. And he responded with something very interesting. Oh, I didn't play Final Fantasy, so he didn't know who the first guy's name was, but obviously he knows who Spider-Man is. Case in point. Thank you. I guess I could give half a point to Final Fantasy because he did know that the character was from Final Fantasy. He just didn't know the name of the character. Next up on the list is my buddy Brian Birch. Brian Birch is Southwest Florida's strongest dude. And on top of it, he's a super nerd as well. He watches all the Marvel movies. He likes comic books. He likes the nerd culture a lot. He also has the benefit of turning 50 this year. So if anyone's going to remember Final Fantasy from their youth, it would be this guy, right? Wrong. Wrong. He only knew Spider-Man. Next up, we have one of my friends, Amanda Littleson. Yes, she has a very interesting last name. Yes, it is her real last name. And guess what? You're probably saying, oh, that's so unfair. She's going to know Spider-Man. She's not going to know Cloud. She's probably not a nerd. Wrong. She knew both of them. She knew both of them. How dare you think she wouldn't know who they were? She knew both of them. That's a point for both people. Bravo. And after that, we have my Viking friend Travis, who also happens to be a super nerd. And guess what? He's also married to Amanda. So yes, he did know who Cloud and Spider-Man were. So yeah, bravo. Now, I know what you're thinking at this point. Joe, you've only asked people above the age of 30. What about the youth? What about their opinion on this? What do they think? Well, I asked the guy in his early 20s, and look what he said. He said that he thinks that this is Link. He thinks this is Link. He's maybe Super Smash Bros. Maybe that's why he got it confused. 20-year-olds all playing Super Smash Bros. But he knew who Spider-Man was without doubt. Okay, and now we're just going to stick with people in their youth and their 20s. We got our friend Bree here, and look what she said. She said a guy from Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, so she gets half a point, actually really a quarter of a point, because she doesn't know if it's Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy, but she's in the right zone, so I guess we'll just give her the half a point. But she said obviously that's Spider-Man, so she knew who that was. Next up, we have my good friend Johanna, and Johanna stated she had no idea who the first person was at first, but she knew who Spider-Man was. But then she texted me right afterwards saying it's an anime character, Cloud from Final Fantasy, so it probably jogged her memory after looking at the picture a little bit longer. But still, only half a point really. I'll give you the whole point, but it really should only be half a point because it took her a second to realize where she remembered it from. Next up is without a doubt the fastest friend that I have. It's Paul, and Paul said Spider-Man and Link. I have a feeling I'm wrong on Link. Yeah, you're wrong. It's Cloud from Final Fantasy. The people in the comments that are telling me that Final Fantasy is a way bigger IP than Spider-Man and there's no way that it's going to outsell Final Fantasy. I think I'm proving my point here, but yeah, I guess half a point because he said he looks familiar. Okay, last up is my girlfriend Danielle. And you know what? Up until this point, we've been keeping track of points. But whatever she says at this point, that's what we're going with because that's how that works and I don't want to be in trouble. So she said, No clue, and that B is Spider-Man. See, that's why we're together. Great minds think alike. Spider-Man is going to outsell Final Fantasy. It's a much bigger IP. And thus concludes my presentation as to why I said Spider-Man is a much more well-known IP than Final Fantasy, especially to the common everyday person. Spider-Man's such an iconic character that people see it and they just know who it is right off the rip, as opposed to Cloud, who's Final Fantasy's arguably most famous character. And I know a lot of Final Fantasy fans are going to come at me in the comment section defending their IP, and that's totally fine. I get it. You guys are passionate and you love that IP. Totally cool. I'm super passionate and love Spider-Man, but I also do realize that if one day Magic the Gathering ever did a crossover with something like, I don't know, Star Wars, I could definitely admit that even though I'm passionate more about Spider-Man, that yeah, Spider-Man's going down when it comes to Star Wars. That fan base is like insano in the braino. But you know what the beauty of the internet and having a conversation is? We could come back to this video September 26th and decide whether I was right or wrong, whether or not Spider-Man did better than Final Fantasy. And you know what? That's all good with me. Till we crack again, guys.